Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're actually going to be reading like really hyped up books on BooktTok. And these books I just cannot get away from, especially one series, which by just saying that, I'm pretty sure that you would know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to read all these books just because I've been seeing way too much of it and I need to know what the hype is about. Obviously, you're watching this video because you also love BooktTok and all the recommendations, and I just love it because it's one of the reasons why I kind of got back into reading, because of the way that people were talking about certain books and just all the recommendations. And I'm just really excited because it's one of the main reasons why I started reading again. So let me know which book actually got you back into reading and if it was because of BooktTok that got you back into it. But we're actually going to start with the ACOTAR series. I've been seeing way too much of this and I'm really nervous just a little bit, just because it is a fantasy and I'm not really a big fantasy person, just because it can be a little intimidating, especially when it's a really big series, and this is a really big series. Starting to see more and more videos of the actual series and I just don't want it to spoil anything, and I just have to like swipe up. When I know that it's something about the ACOTAR series, I swipe up immediately just so it doesn't ruin anything for me, because I just really want to go into the series without really knowing too much. So this is basically about Farah and how she kills a wolf, and his friend basically, I guess, demands retribution, and so he drags her to his world so she can basically live out the rest of her life basically in like a prison with him. She's not really a prisoner, it's just that she's basically in debt to him in a way, I guess. It says right here, at least he's not a beast all the time. So I'm guessing that the beast, the guy that basically stripped her away from her family, is the main romance guy and like the main guy that she falls in love with. I'm really excited to start the series. I'm just really nervous and I'm just don't really know what I'm getting myself into, but I'm really excited because this fandom is really big and I feel a little bit of FOMO because I'm not in that fandom and I don't know anything about it. So I'm excited. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna be reading the first one now. I'm really excited. I don't know how this is gonna go. Let's start. So it's actually the next day and I am on page 156. It's getting extremely good. So I'm just like super invested in this. Like obviously like I blew through it. I think I'm like halfway done with it. I do want to say like the beginning was amazing. Like I could not picture it turning out the way that it did, like the beginning or just setting up the entire world, because like I said, like fantasies usually have a really hard time grabbing people's attentions just because usually like the beginnings are pretty boring because they're setting up the worlds. But with this one, it just got to the point very quickly, and like if obviously like if you're lost, it explains it to you in that moment. I love that Farah actually loves to paint, and I can literally imagine her house and, you know, like little spots of Farah around. And yeah, I love everything about Farah. She's really cool. I mean, like around this time she's actually a badass and she's really strong, even though she thinks that she's not. She is extremely strong, especially when it comes to like emotional anything, because like if I were her, I would be crumbling every day. I would be crying. I would not be leaving my room at all. But she does it. She stands up on her 2 feet and she goes for what she wants. Yeah, I'm over here talking big game when I know nothing about this book. I know very little of it, but I'm already recommending it, so that's a really good sign to me. So I'm going to continue reading. I don't know what else is going to happen, but I'm pretty sure that I'm in a point where Tamlin and Farah are, you know, like starting to be more together and, you know, bond because of like what happened with the other fairy and just with everything that has happened before. She is actually opening up to him because she like lost any kind of hope of her returning with her family. So yeah, I don't know what she wants to do with her life because that's what she's trying to figure out now, that she's not going to go back home. She's trying to figure out what she wants. So I'm curious to know what else she wants to do other than paint. I'm going to continue reading outside. It's a beautiful day. I'm going to take my cat outside. Obviously, you guys saw her yesterday. We do take her outside anytime that we go because she is leash trained. My other cats aren't, and she loves going outside. She just likes nature, so she doesn't do anything crazy. She just lays in the grass because she just loves that. So we're going to go do that. She's going to hang out with me and I'm going to read, and yeah, it's going to be a really good night. Okay, so it's been a couple of days. I've been reading very little throughout like this couple of days. Before the halfway mark, it was good, but it was dragging a little bit, just a tiny bit, to the point where I was obviously not reading as much. I do think that taking the break that I did, because I really only took one day off from reading, I think that that little break really like just kickstarted my obsession with this again, or it was just kind of like a breather for me. I am hoping to finish this today. If I don't finish it today, then I will finish it tomorrow for sure, because I just want to start the next book. And let me tell y'all, it's so good. I am in page 280. Tamlin and Feyre have like gotten together, and some bad things are happening right now. The thing that is like the most thing that's happening, like the dangerous thing that's happening is like now happening. So it's very interesting. We're getting a lot more of like the past, especially Tamlin's past. We're getting a lot of that, so I'm very invested in that, and I can't wait to just read more. And you're reading more about like the actual politics in this book, and to be honest with you guys, I'm not really big in like those kind of politics, especially like fairy tale politics, because it's just really confusing and I just don't know what anything is. I love her writing so much, and I went to Barnes the other day and I saw other books that she has like written, and I'm really hoping that I just love this series so much and just continue reading more of her books. So I'm gonna continue reading. Let's go. Okay, so I finished the book. It was so good, and now I understand people's fascination with this and why people love this book so much, and just the series in general, because words cannot explain to you how shocked I was with every page that I was reading, like especially through the end. I was just surprised with everything that was happening. I literally had no words. It was like that good, and I was actually pretty scared for Lucien. For some reason I just thought that he was gonna die, and I was just like, in the back of my mind I kept thinking, please don't kill Lucien. He, like, I don't know why, I just love him so much. His banter with Feyre is just really cute and wholesome. It's kind of like a best friend type of thing, but the main bad person is just so evil, and I just could not believe the way that this was written, how good she wrote these enemies, because they are true evil people. And I just, yeah, like the things that happen, and like the things that the people, like the evil people would do, or like the evil fairies would do, was just unbelievable. I could not imagine any of that to happen. So yeah, I love this book so much. I know I keep saying it, but I really do. I love Sarah's writing, and I love the way that she wrote everyone, and the way that she wrote this world, because this world is so cool and just so magical, and I love this so much. So I am going to be reading, let me see which book I'm gonna read next. So I'm starting to see people pick up the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. I read the first one and I'm starting to see more people read the second one. People are really raving about this. So this is basically about a prince named Tristan. His father died, and his brother, he has an older brother who is going to ascend to the throne, and he is set to marry this girl where he is kind of like having like an enemies to lovers type of thing with her. And so yeah, he's just like a scarred prince who has gone through things. Let's start reading this one. I'm in chapter 14 and things are a little slow. They still haven't really done anything. She is now kind of starting to feel a little, you know, a little sensation for Tristan. She actually doesn't really like Michael, which I also don't. She said that he is very like arrogant and just stuck up, and I can definitely see that. We still don't know how he got his scar. So yeah, I'm gonna continue reading. I'm in chapter 14 and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so a little update. It is now 9:20 and I am about halfway done with it. I think it's like 48%. So right now they had a party to celebrate Sarah and Michael's engagement. And first of all, I want to say that I really like Tristan's and Sarah's bantering, and you know, like them kind of like communicating and just like them being together, especially when they're alone. And right now they were sitting next to each other while, you know, like the festivities were going on, and let me just tell y'all, it was getting spicy. This happens in chapter 27 and I just could not stop reading. I couldn't believe what was happening because they were doing things with each other in public. Yeah, it's getting really good. I am halfway done with it. I'm flying through it because I think I started it a little bit late. See how this goes, how this plans out, how everything happens, and all the twists and turns. And yeah, we'll continue this tomorrow. I just finished reading Scar, and the character development, the people, all the characters I loved. I do want to say that I think Sarah is like one of my favorite like female characters, just because of how strong she is and how she just doesn't let anyone step on her. I would though suggest looking up trigger warnings because, like I said, this is a dark romance and there are some things that happen that can be a little triggering for people, so I definitely recommend doing that. With that being said, I rate Scar by Emily McIntyre 4.5. I think. I don't think it's like my favorite because in a couple of days I don't think I'm gonna be thinking about this book again. Our second book is done and completed. I'm very excited that I picked this book up, and I'm really happy that people are picking it up and actually recognizing that it's actually a good book. Last book that we're going to be reading is going to be Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carland. I don't know how to say her name, so I'm sorry if I butchered it or didn't say it right at all. Now, I have seen this book so much. I cannot explain to you how much I've seen this book, so I'm really excited. I did see that Carla Espinosa read this book and she cried at the end, so I'm really curious to see why she cried. Yeah, so it's basically about two people who lost touch and they're reconnecting. It literally says a love-hate love story, so I genuinely don't know what this is going to do to me, and I'm really excited, so let's start reading. So I'm basically halfway done with this, over halfway, and I am going to finish this today no matter what, just because I am not liking this book that much. Very close to DNFing it though, very close. It took a lot of me not to do it, but even now I'm kind of like, okay, I'm halfway done with it, might as well just keep going. But either way, like, I'm not really having fun with this book. I just really just want to finish it just to finish it. Like, I don't want to DNF the book, especially if I'm like recording it. So this book is basically about Matt and Grace and how they met in college. It's very complicated because even when they did get together, I was getting really annoyed with how they wanted each other, but they weren't expressing it and they weren't telling each other. I would say it's kind of like a miscommunication, because like, you guys aren't really talking about your true feelings. You guys are just talking to other people about it, or you're just not going for it, you know what I mean? Basically like a second chance trope, and I am starting to figure out that I actually don't like that trope, just because to me, the books that I've read, it just seems like there shouldn't be a second chance. You guys should have stayed together in the beginning, and what actually made you guys not stay in the beginning was because you guys just didn't communicate that in the beginning. So I'm not really a big fan of second chance tropes. Also, I do want to say I apologize if you actually love this book. I understand people have different opinions and people have different taste, and this is just not mine. But I am going to finish it, and I will give you guys my final reviews after this. I actually finished this yesterday, and I wanted to take a little bit of a breather so I can actually collect my thoughts, because yesterday when I finished it, I was just fuming. I don't know why I was. It's just after I finished it and I thought about everything that happened to get to them, to get to their like happily ever after, I actually just got mad because there shouldn't have been a second chance. You know what I mean? Like, they shouldn't have like had to wait that long to have been together for 15 years. She tried to contact him, but like something's got in the way and there's other people involved. Didn't really correlate. It just seemed like it was really bad miscommunication in both parts, especially Matt's. On Goodreads, I actually rated this 1, but I'm actually gonna bump it up to a 2 because there were parts that were enjoyable. It's just for the most part I didn't really care for the characters, especially Matt. I was not a fan of Matt. I did like Gracie though. She was pretty cool. So to wrap up everything, I am going to rate Scar a 4.5 to be specific. I wish that in Goodreads I can actually do like actual like 0.5s, because sometimes I feel like a book is not really a 4, it's actually a 4.5, or I don't feel like a book is truly a 3, it's actually a 3.5. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I connected with these characters. I loved how their development went, like their character development, and that's what I love the most. And before we were strangers, it just didn't seem like they really grew that much. Gracie did seem like she grew up, but Matt just seemed like the same as he was in college. Last book is going to be obviously the ACOTAR series, or the first book in the series, and I love this book so much. I still think about these characters. I personally love Farah. I wish that I was her. And I went to Barnes & Noble this weekend and I saw that this series was actually going to Hulu. When I tell y'all, I literally wanted to cry. I was so excited. I could not stop thinking about that, and I really need to finish the series because I'm not going to watch that until I finish this series for sure, because I'm that type of person that if I watch the series or movie, I'm not gonna read the book. Let me know if you guys are the same way. I don't know if people are like that. I found 2 great books that I personally love so much, and I love these characters so much, so I'm really glad that I was able to do this for you guys. And if you guys haven't read any of these, I really do recommend them. If you do love this type of trope, I do recommend this. It's just not my cup of tea, but I really do recommend these. If you don't want to get into like a big like series like this one, I do recommend Scar. You don't have to read the first one. They are standalones, so you don't have to read Hooked to read this one. They are different characters and they're set in different times, I believe. So yeah, it's not really like a series where you have to like go by book. You can just read it alone if you want, or if you want to read Hook, by all means, go for it. I do love this one though. This one will be my favorite. I don't know if I'm going to continue the series though. We'll see. Make sure to stick around if you guys want to, and I will see you guys in the next one.